Hello, YouTubers. Tim Favre again. I'm here to tell you about. I need a haircut. No, I am here to tell you that this is a chapter in the life and times of TIJOF, Timothy Joseph Favre. And the name of this story is I Thought There Was Standing in the Middle. Now, this story is about me in 1970, which puts me just about 15 years old. And I was an avid bicycle rider back then. I would ride all over the place. And I had a Schwinn 15-speed bike. Now, if you've ever seen a Schwinn, they're heavy bikes. They are really heavy. I think it weighed something like 25 pounds. It was a very heavy bike, but it was 15 speeds. So, I would take this bike everywhere I went. I did it on my paper route. I did it over there. And one day I was reading about the land speed record for a bicycle was 75 miles an hour for 75 miles. And I go, wow, that's a record. Well, so in Howard Beach, where I grew up, in the newer section of Howard Beach, where Mr. John Gotti lived, in that direction, there was an avenue, or there still is an avenue, called 165th Avenue. And that was the very last avenue before you got to Gateway National Park. And so you had Gateway National Park along the right side, and you had all the other streets intersecting with that avenue on the left side. So if you're riding down that road, you can only be hit from one side of someone making a turn onto where you are. So it was a safe place to ride a bicycle. And it was 3/4 of a mile long before you hit Cross Bay Boulevard. So, cool. Now, on the other side of Cross Bay Boulevard, you had stores. But right where this avenue ended, there used to be an old wooden bridge that connected New Howard Beach with Old Howard Beach. And this is where the ballparks were. This is where the roads would flood after heavy rains, because it was kind of lower. It was very close to the groundwater level, because you had the ocean and Jamaica Bay, right there. So that was Old Howard Beach. A lot of people lived there, but that was Old Howard Beach. So I would take my bicycle and I'd pedal down 165th Avenue. And I have a little speedometer on the bicycle, and I say, oh, wow, 30 miles an hour, that's pretty cool. And I pedal. And so after a while of doing that for a couple of days, weeks, whatever, I was traveling down one day, and the fire department was going back to their fire station. It was a hook and ladder. So they noticed that I was pedaling pretty fast, and the driver of the ladder part, which, he steers in reverse to what the guy in the front's doing, all of a sudden he looks down and he looks at the speed and he yells at me. He goes, 45! I go, cool, I'm doing 45. My speedometer doesn't go up that high. And that's what he would do before they went to back to their base. Months go by, and he's reading out to me. So the day I hit 50 miles an hour, I'm going across, and I'm about 3 blocks before Cross Bay Boulevard comes up. And the light turns green for our street. And Cross Bay Boulevard is now on red light. So the fire truck yells out 55 and says, we got to slow down because we're going to make the turn. And I go, okay, I'll slow down. And I look up, and I see there are people standing, what looks like in the middle of that bridge, fishing. And I'm going, wait a minute. Didn't that center of the bridge burn down? Did they fix it? Did they finally fix the center of the bridge? I go, I'm not going to slow down. I'm going to find out. I'll get to halfway across the bridge, the avenue, and if there's no bridge there, I'll stop. Well, I get halfway across the avenue, and it still looked like people were standing on the middle of the bridge fishing. So I'm going, okay, I'll go to Old Howard Beach. Not really. I get about 30 yards from the edge of the bridge, and I'm doing 55 miles an hour on a bicycle. And I realize there ain't no center of the bridge. I'm going, oh, Christ. What do I do? If I jam on the brakes, I might stop where the bridge truncates and I fall in the water. No. It's only 30 feet. I'm 15 years old. What do I know? It's only 30 feet. I'm doing 55 miles. I should be able to jump it. Not quite. So I pedal faster. And I don't know what I'm doing at this point because my speedometer doesn't go there. And I pedal faster. And I pedal as hard as I can. I get to the edge. I lift the front of the bike up. There I am, sailing across that chasm. The water's going underneath me. I see the other side. Of course I see all this in slow motion. I see the other side of the bridge. I go, my front wheel's gonna make it. My front wheel's gonna make it. Yeah, my front wheel made it. That's about all that made it. My pedals hit the bridge. Now, at 55, you maybe slow down a little 50. You're kind of going a little too fast to just hit something, right? I hit that. I went right over the handlebars. Boy, that hurt. But not as much as what came next. You have the pilings that hold the bridge up. Nice, those wooden telephone poles. And I'm headed right for one. I hit it. You ever see the cartoons, Wile E. Coyote, when it goes after the roadrunner? Hits a pole. Yeah. Face, pole. Arms around, legs around. Slide down. It was low tide. I go down to where the barnacles are sticking out of the pole. Yeah, I was lucky it was low tide. I didn't drown. Meanwhile, I got sliced up really well in the thighs area by the barnacles. And I fell and just kind of laid on the sand. Well, this is the first time I met the police boat, and it parked close to me. They jumped down, picked me up, picked the remains of my bicycle up, and threw me back on the boat. They made sure I was still breathing. When they were sure I was okay, and they were looking at me, I remember the captain saying to me, "What kind of stupid stunt was that?" And they brought me home and they dropped me off. I think they told my parents, I'm not sure. But I remember when they were leaving, they go, "You're not going to do that stupid thing again, are you?" I go, no, once was enough. Well, anyway, that was the story about I thought there was standing in the middle. So, y'all have yourself a good day, and we'll see what story I put on next.